80-year-old passes you. That's what really bothers me. Jessica and I, we did a 5K here in Orlando, and I'm like almost to the end, and it's the first one we ran, and I'm ready to give up. And she's like, "You got this, don't worry," and we were almost to the finish line, and this literally 81-year-old person, this man passed me. Cause I looked at him up to see, cause he crossed before I did. And had I known that he had beat me by, he left after I did because it was from start to finish, I would have tripped him. I'm serious. I would have tripped the guy, because I can't, but that's embarrassing. But the man, some of those people I was reading a statistic, when you tailor your Google or whatever to pull up, articles. And today there was an article about, your chances of hiking to the summit of Everest have increased because of the technology and the weather and the oxygen and the planning and all this. And it was talking about that a person 60 years old has the same survival chance and a chance to ascend and top Everest as somebody 40, which I thought was, and it put in parentheses, 60 is the new 40 is what it said. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Right.
But
well, I'll tell you something that I discovered when I was training, because we had some medical people that went with us. When you have altitude sickness, which is the big problem up there, your brain swells. And what I learned was people that are 50 and above are a lot less likely to get altitude sickness because their brains have shrunk and they've got more room in their skull for their brain to expand.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine because my 16-year-old tells me all the time that I turned 51 Monday.
Oh, happy
this
birthday.
week.
Yeah.
And thank you. And she tells me that I'm already in the shrinking stage. So I was 5'6", so I need to probably measure, see if I'm 5'5" now. But I think it has a lot to do with her getting taller, and she doesn't, she likes to just say that I'm shrinking.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of room up here in my head, so I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad you said that. Well, and I feel safe now.
I'll tell you one quick other story that you probably remember from the book, but I was getting passed constantly by people, by older people. And more than that, you're constantly being passed by Sherpas that are carrying, maybe 150 pounds of gear on their back. And they pass you like you're standing still. Those people are incredible. They are supermen. It's unbelievable to watch. There was one day when I was approaching Lobuche, which is way up high, and I thought I was doing pretty good. I was doing well. I had my trekking poles, and I was getting after it. And I heard something come up around me, and this guy passed me like I was standing still. And I looked down, and he had 2 prosthetic legs. Well, when I first looked at him, my first thought was, that guy's at least 10 years older than me, and he's wearing a short sleeve shirt. I'm bundled up in all kinds of stuff. And this guy passed me, he's wearing a short sleeve shirt. And then I looked down, and he's got two metal legs. And that turned out to be a guy named Mark Inglis, who is a famous mountaineer from either New Zealand or Australia. I'm not sure. I think New Zealand. He's the first double amputee that's ever summited Everest. He was amazing. And then a day later, when we walked into base camp, he walked in at the same time, and I went over and talked to him at that time. But when he passed me, I was like, I was tempted to reach out and trip him. He ticked me off so much.
That's when you're struggling and everything. So, but I was going to ask you earlier about the tea houses and stuff. They're not hotels by any means, but it's not tent camping. You have beds. You go into the details a little more in your book, but your YouTube videos, you and Holly do a really good job with your YouTube videos.
Thank you.
Explaining a lot of things, and I promise you, Jessica and I are going to be customers of yours, and hopefully in 21. But if not, definitely in 22. And I'm excited. I can't wait. And I'm probably going to call you personally and ask at least 3,000 more questions before this is over with.
Well, you're welcome to anytime, and I welcome anybody else that has an interest in this to reach out to us. Go to our website, hobnailtrekkingco.com. That's HOBNAIL, trekkingco.com. We named that after the hobnail boot, which was the preferred footwear of climbers from the Roman days all the way up to about 1950. And that's when the technology changed. So we wanted to name our company something that was a throwback to the climbing and hiking days of old.
I did not realize
Yep.
that. That's one thing I was going to ask you, and I forgot to ask you where the name came from. That's very interesting.
That's it. But we love to talk about trekking. We're about as normal as anybody you're ever going to meet that own a Himalayan trekking company. We don't, the income part of it is not great. What we're trying to do is provide this experience to as many other people as we can, because we know how awesome it is. And we also know that there's a lot of logistics and planning and stuff that's involved. And our goal was to make that as easy as we possibly could for people that want to do this trek, and for us to help you prepare in every way that we can. That's our goal.
Well, I can tell you that, like I said, I've enjoyed the book tremendously. Mark Johnson, Doofus Dad does Everest Base Camp. It's a good read, good listen. I appreciate you taking the time. The fact that in the book that you, and I don't know what the right word is, overlaid or edited in your videos, the sound in certain times of the books, like when you talk about the bells of the yaks, you hear the bells, or when you're crossing the Hillary Bridge or kids or whatever, it's just, your book takes you there. And I just can't tell you enough how much I enjoyed it. And I'm sure that the people that are going to download this, that are my listeners, are going to enjoy it as well. A lot of my listeners spend a lot of time in their vehicles, going to and fro, crossing the country and stuff. And so this is going to be...
One thing I want to mention, Kenny, too, is that I've worked in the cooperative world since 2003. And I'm a member of a group called the Cooperative Communicators Association, which is a national trade group of cooperative communicators. And over those years, rural electric co-op people have become some of my best friends. And I've been exposed to that process, and I've heard a lot about linemen and what they go through and what they deal with. So I have a little more knowledge about electric line workers and people in that industry than normal people might. And I really appreciate everybody that works in that field and what you do, because, we realize that when the crap hits the fan, that it's you guys that are out there on the front lines getting us back into business, and we really do appreciate it.
Well said. Well said. A lot of people don't appreciate it until the lights go out, and then that's when the crap does hit the fan.
Right.
So thank you for that.
You bet. I'll tell you too, Kenny, that Holly and I are going to start a Himalayan trekking podcast soon.
Oh, awesome.
And it'll be,
I cannot wait.
It won't be our other podcasts are kind of just indeterminate. We're going to do them as long as we want to, but it'll probably be about 15 episodes. And each episode will cover a different aspect of the travel, the food, the training, the gear. Each episode will be a different topic. We'll get them all done and put them out there, hopefully within the next couple months.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I'm going to go back and get your other book as well.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Again, Mark Johnson, Doofus Dad, does Everest Base Camp. You can find it in bookstores, Amazon, and on audible.com. And I'm sure they would appreciate it. And you will, this guy takes you to Everest Base Camp. You will, whether you're driving, lying in bed, walking in the neighborhood on the treadmill, you will feel like you're there. Much appreciated, Mark. And you're going to hear from me soon. And I'm going to give you some of my money, and I'm going to experience it firsthand. So thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you, man. It's good talking to you.
All right, you too.